Hello, my name is Jessica Michaels, and I am a neurodiversity coach and speaker and consultant. I also am an adult with autism and ADHD. You might have noticed that I've got a very odd accessory that I'm wearing today. This is a migraine patch because unfortunately I also suffer from daily headaches, chronic migraines. And this headache patch is something that I often have to wear in order to just take the edge off enough for me to be able to continue to work. Now, like many Americans especially, I am in a position where if I don't work, I don't get paid. As a freelancer and as a consultant, I only get paid for the hours I work. Many people who work hourly positions or are in positions where they aren't able to collect any type of paid time off or sick days are in a similar situation where ideally you wouldn't work, but you don't really have a choice. But for neurodivergent people who are able to choose whether or not to work when they aren't feeling well, there are many reasons why it is beneficial to just stay home or stay off the computer. First is, obviously, if you are contagious, then you do run a risk of spreading disease to other people. And you don't know who around you could be immunocompromised. And so staying home when you're potentially contagious is of a benefit to society at large. Now, many neurodivergent people do have conditions such as autoimmune conditions and other chronic diseases that make their immune system not function optimally. So many of us are actually in that boat ourselves where we are immunocompromised and we don't want to be around people that are potentially contagious. So we like when people who are ill stay home. One of the reasons why, even if you do stay home, it's good to actually not do any work at all is that often our interoception as neurodivergent individuals can be very poor. What's interoception? It's basically how your body interprets its own signals and senses. So how you recognize that you're hungry, for example, is your brain is interpreting senses. Your brain is interpreting other signals that are sent from a part of your body and determining what that means. Many of us have interoception that is lacking. And so we often will not realize that we're sick until we are very, very ill. I had a surgery a few years ago and I went to work, back to work after a few days, not realizing that I had contracted a very serious infection at the time of my operation. And it wasn't until I needed to be rushed in for emergency surgery that I even realized that I was sick. Though my doctor said I had all the classic signs of a surgical infection, I just simply didn't feel ill. So that can be very dangerous for us. So when you are homesick, even if you feel like you could maybe do some work, it's best to just take some time off, especially at the highest point of your illness. It's also very stressful to work when you are not feeling well. If you think of your daily energy as a bucket, when you're sick, it depletes your physical energy. And that often affects how we feel mentally, and it affects things like how much energy we have to devote to willpower and devote to maybe emotional control in professional situations. So when you're not feeling well, you may actually deplete your ability to act and react professionally in a work setting. You could also affect your ability to do good work. I know that no matter what I do and how careful I try to be, when I work or send emails when I'm not feeling well, there are mistakes in those that I wouldn't make otherwise. And those things can diminish your reputation or how you are viewed in terms of your skill level. In addition, going to work or working when you're not feeling well adds additional stress. And stress can deplete us physically either on a day-to-day basis or on a long-term basis when you're looking at something like burnout. So additional stress makes it harder for us to function overall and can contribute to a situation where we're not able to work for a much longer time than we had anticipated if we had just taken some time off. So not everybody has the ability to not work when they're sick, as I mentioned, and I certainly understand this. Having some little things around you that maybe don't take care fully of how you're feeling, but can make your life a little bit better, a little bit easier, can be beneficial. So taking more frequent breaks, resting your eyes and not staring at your monitors all day. Things like ice packs or heat packs or tea with honey, any of those little things that you can do for yourself to help you feel better, certainly employ as many as you can. So if you can, stay home from work when you're not feeling well and work from home if you do still feel like you can be ultimately productive, and then taking some time off from the computer altogether, even if you are at home, and actually just resting and recovering. Now, something I have learned personally is that if my wife or someone around me tells me that I need to go to the doctor, then I need to listen and not just say, oh, I feel fine. It generally means they're seeing something that I am not, and that they understand that I maybe need some medical attention, and they tend to be right. So if somebody around you says that you don't look like you're feeling well, or maybe you should head home, or maybe you should go to the doctor, my personal advice, listen to those people around you. We always want to be considering all of the information at our fingertips, so I would treat that as another source of information. If you have any comments, questions, or any tips, please share them below in the comments, or feel free to reach out to me at coachjessicamichaels.com. You can request a topic for a future video, or you can request a free coaching consultation. Also, check out the podcast I host with my wife called Gifted Kid, Messy Adult, here on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you find your podcasts. See you next time.